It's Ron Reader digs the universe. I'm Ron Reader, and this is Ron Reader Digs the Universe, and tonight, the second referendum on fascism. And I'm disgusted here on election night. It's 4 years later, and we are again voting on whether we get to keep the Constitution, on whether we get to have a president whose role is constitutionally defined, or whether we get to have an authoritarian dictator who does whatever the fuck he wants. In this country, of all places, it really ought to be illegal to vote on fascism, but here we are. Disgusting. The final polls out on Monday, yesterday, are showing the two candidates are neck and neck, although pollsters are being criticized for overcorrecting after their failures in 2016 and 2022. So who the hell knows what people are really thinking in this age when polling samples are reduced solely to people who answer unidentified phone numbers when they call. A good poll in red state Iowa over the weekend has Harris surprisingly winning. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. But even if she does win, it will continue to boggle my mind that this nation is so primed to embrace fascism. How did we get here? Well, we didn't get here overnight. American fascism has been bubbling on our civilization's back burner for some decades. For starters, post-Cold War politics in this country became a manifestation of the William Butler Yeats line, "The sinner cannot hold." In its triumph over communism, capitalism went wild and finally bought the entire American political system, making government represent and pursue the desires of the wealthy and only the wealthy. Regular, ordinary working people have been in ever more dire straits since then. The pain and economic anxiety are real. American politics now has no center. There is nobody coming to bail these people out. The democracy that we're doing as we've been doing it is not getting the job done. Desperate people seek desperate solutions. To many of them, fascism doesn't look so bad these days. But it isn't simply economic desperation. Decades of advertising and consumerism have made many Americans both selfish and self-centered. A lot of them are just too into their own lives even to care what goes down in Washington. A lot of them find Trump's obvious narcissism to be appealing, and that's consumerism for you. Meanwhile, in the 90s, the utterly authoritarian evangelicals began to flex their political muscles, moving headfirst into conservative politics like zealots. So did the gun nuts, and reacting to the social gains made by people of color, women, and LGBTQ, so did the racist, misogynists, and homophobes. They're all pissed off at everyone and everything, and they now own and operate the Republican Party. Naturally, GOP politics began to reflect this, and because all this fascist shit is unpalatable to the wider electorate, Republicans, like the Nazis before them, started lying about everything. You know, at first it was just global warming, but now it really is everything. Republican lies, coupled with the fact that nobody reads anymore, they just watch video, well, all that makes for very successful lies, and here we are, inches away from a fascist takeover. I pretty much understand how all this happened. The writing has been on the wall, but it still blows my mind. Fucking fascism. They're saying the race is so close that we probably won't know the result tonight. Or maybe we will. Who knows? It's definitely going to go to the courts. But I do know one thing. This is not the country I've always thought it was. I mean, I knew we had problems, big problems. I just didn't know that fascism is one of those problems. I'm Ron Reeder, and this has been Ron Reeder Digs the Universe. Join me, Ron Reeder, again next week for another episode of Ron Reeder Digs the Universe.